Docteur Yael Goldberg, bonjour.
Merci, bonjour.
Bonjour. Alors vous êtes ici à Paris pour une visite, pour un congrès sur la génétique. Est-ce que vous pouvez tout d'abord nous parler un peu de vous, s'il vous plaît?
Alors, avec plaisir, mais je vais parler en anglais, s'il vous plaît.
D'accord.
I am a medical doctor. I'm an internist and a geneticist, and I am working in the Charette Institute in Hadassah. I studied medicine in Hadassah, in the Hebrew University. I did there the first degree and the second degree, and then I did internal medicine in Hadassah, and then I went to some research in New York at the Rockefeller University. And when I came back, I finished my internal medicine residency, became a geneticist, and for the last almost 10 years I'm back to Hadassah, to the Charette Institute. I am doing oncogenetics, which is the genetics of oncology.
Docteur Goldberg, est-ce que vous pouvez nous parler de ce que vous et votre équipe font à Hadassah, et si vous pouvez aussi nous parler des nouveautés sur lesquelles vous travaillez en ce moment?
The idea behind our work, behind oncogenetics as we see it, is the ability to prevent cancer. We know today that some of the tumors can be prevented, and in other tumors, the earliest you discover them, the earliest you diagnose them, you have better chance to fight them. My team focuses mainly on cancers of the GI tract, of colon cancer, and this is one of the main tumors that can be totally prevented. Each colon tumor starts from a polyp. A polyp is a benign lesion. It's a lesion that is not cancerous. And if you do surveillance and if you take the polyp before it becomes cancerous, you can prevent cancer. As I said before, 10% of the population have some risk for having cancer. Around 10% of patients with colon cancer have it inherited. So what we do is identifying families where we suspect cancer is genetics. In these families, surveillance, follow-up, colonoscopies have to start much earlier. In the general population, we recommend colonoscopies from the age of 50. In families with inherited cancer, we recommend colonoscopies in the age of 25. On one hand, the burden of cancer is very high. Someone who has inherited cancer or inherited genes for cancer have more than 80% risk to have cancer. On the other hand, diagnosing him, knowing that he has this risk, allows him to do the right surveillance. And we know today that in a very fantastic percentage of carriers, we can prevent cancer. So what we do in our team, we try to identify the high-risk families. We try to do the process of diagnosis. We provide them surveillance and follow-up. And we believe, we actually know that we manage to prevent cancer in many of them.
Docteur Goldberg, vous êtes là à Paris pour donner une présentation à l'ESHG. Est-ce que vous pouvez nous donner les grandes lignes de cette présentation et aussi nous donner un état de la collaboration avec l'Institut Gustave Roussy?
So we are the biggest center in Israel that is concentrating on Lynch syndrome. And what I presented in this convention was the summary of our work with regard to Ashkenazi Jews. There are 3 mutations in the Lynch syndrome genes that are more common among Ashkenazi. We presented the numbers, we presented the risk that carriers have, and this presentation is very important in order to be able to diagnose and to prevent cancer in these families. We share our data among ourselves in Israel with other centers and also around the world. Part of this syndrome is the risk for having even a more risky or more morbid syndrome where the two parents who are carriers for Lynch transmit the gene to their child. Here, before the ESAG, a group of researchers from France, from Germany, from Holland to try to work out an algorithm of surveillance, to try to work out together a plan for collaboration. One of those main participants is the head of the cancer genetic program in Institute Gustave Rousseau, who we will work together on this situation, and we hope to work together on several other projects that actually occupy the two of us, about the cancer genetics of breast cancer, about genetics of gastric cancer. By this meeting and by this convention, we'll be able to pursue fruitful collaboration.
Alors, Dr Goldberg, en conclusion, quel message souhaiteriez-vous transmettre à ceux qui nous regardent?
So now, after I told you about our work, I believe that you understand how important it is. To summarize, our goal is to try to help to prevent cancer whenever we have the tools and the means to do it. It involves a lot of efforts, but we believe this effort will lead to less morbidity and less mortality. So I hope I convinced you and I showed you how important is our work, and hopefully you will support us in that. Thank you.
Merci, Dr Goldberg.